and gentlemen, the biggest names in music.
Big names, big songs, big guests, big prizes.
Well, it's a big show.
The Big Show.
Put your hands together for the one and only
Glenn, Angel, FD, and Sean.
That's what I'm talking about.
1FM 91.3. Good times, the latest hits.
Good morning and welcome to The Big Show right here on 1FM 91.3. We are also on The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning and every Thursday is our career strategist, Adrian Chu from careeragility.org. Good morning, Adrian.
Good morning, Glenn, and good morning, gang, and good morning, all of Singapore and the rest of the world. How's everyone doing today?
We're all right.
We're doing
all right.
good. We're
Very
doing
good.
Every time you come on means the weekend is near.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing.
One more sleep, right? Like what you always say.
One more sleep.
Yeah.
And this morning I am following in your footsteps because you always have this really, really nice background. Okay, a virtual background, which looks so real.
Virtual background.
And so I decided to go with my virtual background today as well, which I think is very natural. Nobody will know it's a virtual background.
Sure, yes. No one,
nobody know?
no one can tell. And if you're listening to us on the radio, Glenn has got a very red background.
Yes.
And it is of his least favorite football team.
That would be Liverpool.
Liverpool. He's got a Liverpool background. Come on, watch.
But I have my favorite team in the background,
Yes.
which is Manchester United. Yeah.
There you go. So if you want to
for
watch
you.
us, you can watch us on the Facebook pages of 1FM as well as the Big Show TV. So let's get back to our Thursday collaborator, Adrian Chu. Adrian, I was reading in the news, I think it was a BBC article just yesterday, about people who are rage quitting, and it's happening more than ever. And when I told the guys about it this morning, we were trying to see what is rage quitting in the first place.
Well, according to the article, rage quitting is all about people who get so frustrated in their job that they say, I quit. And some of them quit in the most dramatic ways, like really storming out the office or trashing the office and just riding off into the sunset.
Yeah.
So apparently we are seeing an increase in people who are doing that as they quit.
Wow. Okay.
Didn't
was an article...
yeah?
But
Did
this
someone?
article was not really in Singaporeans' context, but it was interesting though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
No, but wasn't there another case here in Singapore where the person, really angry, quit, but before he quit, he stabbed his boss?
Yeah,
Right?
yes.
Remember?
Yes, I think it
There
was.
was a
remember
case.
that?
I think it was his father-in-law or something like that. He was
don't know.
related to the
Yeah,
guy.
but he did stab him, yeah.
Yeah, there were a
Yeah.
couple of cases. Yes.
Now that is rage quitting.
There was an
Yeah.
e-commerce one. Yeah, he was quite young as well, the boy, right? Yeah.
That's one way not to
If
get
you
hired
remember
again.
a couple of weeks ago, I told you a woman quit in rage, remember? And she did $100,000 damage to the computer system
There
in the
you go.
office.
So it is happening in
Oh,
Singapore
wow.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not good on your CV, right?
So that's one of the reasons we obviously know it's not a good thing to do. Why else is it so bad to rage quit?
So I don't know. The way I see it is rage quitting. There are two forms. One of it is basically quitting in a very dramatic fashion. Okay, that's definitely not a good thing to do because it's uncalled for, unnecessary. Even though it may make you feel good, okay, it does ruin your reputation in the long run. The other way I see rage quitting is when it's not so dramatic, but you get so frustrated with the work that you do, the office environment, everything else, and you quit in a rage without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, and just submit that I resign, I quit. I know this person who was so frustrated with his job, he actually quit not even by a resignation letter. He just got so frustrated. He sent an SMS to my boss, I resign.
Oh yes, my
That
friend
was
did
his
that
resignation
also.
letter. And
Really?
Yeah, true text.
At least it was I resign, not something you.
Well, Adrian, as I was telling the guys earlier, it's very, very common. What were you going to say?
Oh no! So I'm saying is that it's basically rage quitting. Also to us means that you're resigning without any plans or any idea in hand what you're gonna do next.
Yeah, nothing to fall back on.
Right.
Well, I told the guys earlier this morning that I had a friend who did this, rage quit literally. 2 days later, decided or realized, damn, this is not the thing to do. Called the boss, and the boss was good enough to take him back. even after
That's
rage
nice.
quitting, because the boss realized what an asset he was to the company, and it was just that I would imagine he wasn't getting enough support or the right support, so he got really peeved and left.
Is your friend still there?
Yeah, he's
By
there. He's still
chance?
there.
Wow.
He's
Okay.
still there. Yeah.
Okay. So he's just having a really bad day.
Yeah, could be.
Sometimes individuals, employees can be a bit attention seeking. Some of them. Okay, so for them, quitting in the rage is a cry for help, or they just want to flex or vent and or tell the bosses that I quit. But if one of as a boss, if one of your employees does rage quit on the spot, I think one of the first things you would do is we need to find out why. And is it an emotional thing? Is it sometimes it takes two hands to make a clap, right?
That's true.
It's
That's
not
true.
just the employee. Sometimes maybe you're over pressuring him or something.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, hold your thought. We are going to continue to talk to Adrian Chu on The Big Show TV. But right now, here's Wet, Wet, Wet. Love is all around on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3. Yes, FD.
Interesting point, Adrian. You said if someone rage quits, then that means the first thing the boss should do is try and find out why. But when a lot of people rage quit, they are so vocal that the bosses get angry and don't bother to find out why. And you could end up losing a really good member of your staff.
Yeah, and
It is
but
true.
What you mentioned earlier is also very true. Though is the employee a contributing employee? Is he a good worker?
Yeah.
I mean, if he's a troublemaker or then he rage quits and everyone goes like, yeah, right?
But I mean, not everyone can rage quit because there
They're
are
thinking about
contracts.
money there.
Yeah, no, there are contracts in place, right? You can't just walk out of a job. I mean,
got your
there are going to be
notice.
repercussions that happen. You can get not so well sued, isn't it?
Yeah, can you imagine a surgeon rage quitting halfway through?
No,
That's
that's a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, I'm just going to make my point. I'm going to quit midway through surgery.
Baby coming out? No, it's okay. You have it on your own.
Put it back in there.
Yeah.
Don't have your child.
Pull him
now.
out on your own, woman.
You
No,
learned
but-
how to push, right? There you go.
But interesting point. Are people actually allowed to rage quit with the terms and conditions that come
Yeah.
in your employment letter?
Contractually.
I think you can indicate that you want to quit, but you can rage quit, but at the end of the day, you still have to serve your 1
Yeah.
month notice or 3 month notice, right?
So it's just
Very
a whole
much the drama.
dramatic thing, like clearing your table and all that, running out and then saying, okay, I'm coming back tomorrow because I have to serve out my my 3 months, right? Tail between the legs and everything. Oh, it's like the walk of shame, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit like that.
So okay. So what are the repercussions? Say somebody rage quits and doesn't come back.
If he rage quits and doesn't come back, he's liable for the duration of the notice period which he has. So if it's a 1 month notice period, he has to pay the 1 month notice period back. And if the other way of it is that if he, and a lot of times the employer pays you at the end of the month. So if you quit in January and you don't turn up, you're just not going to get the January salary.
Right.
So you're
Yeah.
going to rage quit after you get your paycheck, I guess. But you're still liable for it, whether or not they're going to sue you or what. But the whole idea is that your career is not a one-off unless you've won the lottery or the Toto, Super Toto draw, right?
Yeah.
Then you rage quit and then there's almost no repercussions but fact is you're probably going to need another job down the road and reference checks will be taken. And then they're going to find out, wow, this guy actually abandoned his project halfway because he rage quit and why? See, and then it'll affect your reputation down the road.
Okay. So, usually when someone rage quits, it's always because of the boss. Okay?
Not
Okay.
always.
Well, most of the time.
always,
Let's
I
say
guess.
it's because of the boss. Let's say it's because of the boss. During your exit interview, right? When HR asks you the reason why you're quitting and all that, do you slam your boss?
Very tempting, right? Here's the 15 reasons why. You draw it out and you go, this is. Typically, exit interviews are organized by HR. Sometimes exit interviews are organized by the boss himself to find out why. And our advice is always be professional about it, and as much as you want to badmouth the boss or say that he's doing this, he's doing that, it's not good. we always recommend being professional about it. So, and also, what's the purpose of? Honestly, if there's an exit interview and you tell HR about all the bad things the boss does, what's the point of it? Are you out to injure the boss? Are you out to make the place a better place for all your other co-workers who are leaving behind? Or are you just venting, right? If you're just venting, then what's the point, And especially if you know that this boss is a very powerful boss, HR listens to him anyway, so what's the point, right? So a lot of times, our recommendation is if it's not going to move the needle, if it's not going to have a major impact, then why do it?
Yeah, but
but-
where I used to work, I'll give you an example. This is the reason why I brought this up. There were about a few people quit. A few people quit. Okay, and during the exit interview, all of them cited that this particular boss was the reason. At least 5 people. So if you have that and everyone decides like, okay, I need to tell HR why I'm quitting is because, this person is just unbearable, unreasonable. What then if HR sees that everyone is quitting because of this one boss? Will the boss then, be called up and get questioned?
Probably, but my question for you is did that boss get fired in the end?
Well, a few years later, she did, yes.
Yeah, but a few years later, so she survived the initial
Exactly.
onslaught, right? So
Exactly. So that
no
means I
point,
think
right?
the benefit of the doubt was given, to her.
To her, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why in my entire life I have never understood the concept of an exit interview
Yeah.
because I'm leaving. What the hell do I want to say?
What's
I'm
there to
leaving.
talk about? Yeah.
I don't give a damn anymore. I'm leaving.
You're firing me or I'm quitting and all that.
What do I care?
Yeah.
Even in my company, when someone leaves, I don't do an exit interview.
Yeah.
I sit down, I talk to them, I wish them all the best. I give them advice if they want advice, but that's what I do.
But I guess
I don't ask you why you're leaving.
It would work if someone is leaving on very, very good terms. And then you can ask them things like, what did you enjoy about working here? How can we make ourselves better? Like someone who's
But
actually
even then,
said...
why am I going to tell you I'm leaving?
No. Someone leaving on good terms. My goodness, you're so angry this morning.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, kind of like...
You are coming across quite
Yeah.
Why am I
What's
gonna tell
happening?
you?
Why are you snapping?
Okay.
He's raging.
Are you raging? Yeah.
But Adrian, what do you think, I think in future, right, employees might have to rate their management.
Like a testimonial.
I think many already do.
Times are
I think many
changing,
already do.
but on a regular basis, though.
There a lot of companies have this 360-degree feedback mechanism where you give feedback to your
Because
boss.
you write testimonials for employees moving on to other jobs. Do employees write testimonials for bosses that they've just left?
I don't know. I don't think so. But one thing that's interesting is that if you really do want to bring up certain behaviors or issues during the exit interview, you can do it. Okay, but make sure that it's not emotional. Make sure you don't use language like he's an ass. Provide examples, solid examples to HR. On this day, when I presented this, okay, and this was the logic behind it, the boss stood up and said that that's a stupid idea. Okay, he was quite rude. He stood up in front of all the clients and said that's a stupid idea. He berated me in front of all my clients, all our clients. So if you want to provide feedback, provide tangible, solid examples, give dates, times, whatever it is. Be professional.
Okay, hold on. We're going back on air.
Back on air, stand by in 3, 2.
Top Loader, dancing in the moonlight right here on The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is the CEO and founder of careeragility.org, Adrian Chu. Good morning, Adrian. We're talking about rage quitting.
Yes.
Rage quitting.
Yeah, and we're talking currently on the topic of rage quitting because you say don't like your boss or you don't like the employees or colleagues that you work with. But what about rage quitting because the environment is, say, unsafe or toxic or emotionally draining? Is that a good reason for someone to rage quit? And would they have, a good legal reason to leave as well?
Well, I think there are always good, sound reasons to leave your job. The question is whether or not you want to leave it in a rage and mess up the whole place before you go, a trash place. Never a good idea. But if you do find, that's what we always say, don't be afraid to quit your job. If your job is affecting your mental health, your physical health or your emotional health, or if you are in danger. Okay, if you're physically in danger. So, like for instance, if you see unsafe practices going on on the shop floor or in the manufacturing plant where people are not given the proper equipment, then if you complain and it's still happening, then feel free to quit, because these things are, if you're in physical danger, emotional, mental stress, that's in a place where it's unhealthy, feel free to quit. So, but don't quit in a rage, because two things. Number one, you don't want to have a reputation in the industry for being emotionally unstable, okay, for quitting in a rage. And the other thing is about quitting without a job in hand. Even if you don't quit in a rage, but if you quit on impulse, I would say, it's not good, because you are now being painted into a corner where you have to look for a job and you don't have a salary, and then you are in a situation where you might make suboptimal choices. So quitting on impulse is not a good idea either, okay, unless you're really, really sick and tired of the environment and everything else and it's affecting you.
Yeah, I think right now, if you're thinking about quitting and you're really, really angry and you're watching this right now, I think you should take a look at yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, these employees think they are better, right? They have the answer, but they're not really seeing the big picture. So take a step back and take a look at yourself.
But also, if you're an employer and you've had a lot of people quitting on you, then you should also take a look at yourself and reflect on what kind of practices are in the workplace.
Yeah, then I mean the big boss should definitely analyze the situation.
Yeah,
then.
for sure,
Because
yeah.
the big boss is always, correct me if I'm wrong, Adrian, the big boss is in charge of making sure that the culture or the environment, is conducive, right?
Yeah, it is. It boils down to the boss.
What do you think, Adrian?
I agree with FD as well, because ultimately the buck stops here. I mean, as far as the boss is concerned, right? If he fosters a negative environment or an ultra competitive environment, then it's usually there. But a lot of times the bosses can't be bothered. They just want to hit the targets and just want to go back home. So they don't pay attention to it because it doesn't affect them.
You're right, yeah.
I don't know. In our company, when I come back, I'll explain what we do sometimes. Not only when people try and rage quit, but when people just generally get a bit ragey.
Okay.
I like competitive bosses. I love, because I support, you see. For those of you who are watching right now, as a Manchester United fan, you're always competitive. Yeah. If I'm around uncompetitive people, I get bored. Anyway, here's Mr. Big with Wild World on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
Yeah, when it comes to this rage quitting, and I've had to deal with it once or twice, and sometimes people they fly into a rage because of the work they're doing. It could be client, it could be co-workers, it could be whatever, and I've learned to try and get them to stop and think about this. Aren't you bigger and better than this?
Yeah, not many people.
But you've got to guide them.
Yeah.
Because they're all angry, right? So stop. Calm down for a minute and just think. Aren't you bigger and better than this?
And what's the answer?
And most of the time people will stop because they're angry, so they don't stop and think.
They don't breathe.
They don't breathe. Right? So you get them to stop, breathe, and then, aren't you better?
Adrian can't hear us.
Oh,
Yeah, okay, now you can, right?
Can you
No.
hear us, Adrian?
no, we
Can
can't.
you hear
Yeah, I
us?
can hear you now. I was listening to Mr. Big just now. So.
All right, okay.
Very nicely disciplined you are.
Yeah, so it's the whole idea of you're bigger, you're better than this. And if you can get them to see that, they calm down and they learn to start to control that rage.
So do you think, Adrian, companies should be paying more attention to mental wellness? Because it's such a big topic these days, right?
Yeah, it is.
Noticing the signs of when people are about to break.
Yeah.
Or brown, what did you call them?
Browning out.
Browning
Yeah.
out,
Whether you're
yeah.
browning out, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. We have a policy of taking mental break days. We don't record leave for that. If you really want to take the afternoon off, I take afternoons off. But again, I'm the boss, so it's okay. But sometimes
How do you
it's one of the
determine? How do you determine
executive
when?
perks.
How do you determine when someone needs a mental break? Do they tell
I just
you,
declare
or
it
do
on.
you see it?
No, just declare your own. I mean, if you need to go take a nap or you need to go, but nowadays everyone's working from home, right? So, if you want to take a pocket or if you need to fetch if you need to run some errands, just take the afternoon off. Declare your own mental break day and just go off.
Okay, so pre-COVID, when everyone was in the office and stuff like that, now it's very different because everyone's working from home. So their breaks are literally created by themselves, right? It's the employees that decide when they need breaks and stuff like that. So how different is it from pre-COVID, and what's going to happen when people start going back to the office again? Are you going to, as a boss, allow people to, need to go pick up your kid? Okay, go. You need to take a nap? Sure, go into that nap room and take a nap. How different is it going to be?
I don't know. I don't think we'll ever go back to
but let's say we
do.
Week in the office. Let's say we do.
I really hope that organizations will give more mental days off for their workers. To give you an example, I believe the government service is amazing. They use if you needed to take a day off, you needed to go to the doctor to get an MC, and then but then again, by doing that, half the day is really burnt waiting at the clinic and everything, right? If I'm not mistaken, and I know some other organizations have done this as well. They've allowed their people to have an unrecorded medical leave. So if you're not feeling well, you just say, okay, I'm just gonna take a day. I'm just gonna take a day off. So you basically rest at home. You're sick, but not that sick enough to go to a doctor.
Right.
And they give up to 5 days. 5 days of leave, of unrecorded medical leave. So if you're tired or if you're not feeling well or mild headache, you don't drag yourself to the doctor. But what organizations I know who have implemented that, they've actually saved money. Because a lot of people are just going to the doctor, spending $50 just to get an MC. And it's almost about, if they do it about 5 times a year, then it's like $250 per employee that's down the drain because they just needed that piece of paper. So I know organizations who have actually implemented this and they've saved a lot of money. Just respecting the staff enough to just take a day off if they needed the rest.
And there is the point. Respecting and trusting your staff enough not to take advantage of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, people are people, right?
They will
take advantage.
They will abuse
They
it.
will abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will. But I guess as long as you get the work done, right?
But also, it boils down to how good a relationship the employers have. How much respect do you have? Like if say Sean tells us, my back is out. Can you guys just let me? We're gonna trust what he says.
Yeah.
We're gonna know he's not going on a date.
Yeah.
Because he'll tell us.
Unless he posts it on Facebook or something.
He puts a story up or something, right, on Instagram.
But we're a small group, you see.
No, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
of course, but this is just an example. That I think it boils down to trust and knowing the person as well, the character of the person.
No, that's very true. And but either whether or not you have that policy or not, if they want to take, if a recalcitrant employee wants to take the day off by taking an MC, he will. And it's going to cost you $50 anyway. So you might as well just put it in. And so there are different ways of looking at it. But I think trusting employees is always a good idea by and large. But being able to respect, I think, a mental break. Like last year, for instance, our company, we were full tilt almost a whole year through because it was COVID and we had so many people to help. That by November, we were all feeling very browned up. And I was very exhausted mentally and emotionally as well. So we took 3 weeks in December off.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Just
Okay.
to decompress, unrecorded. No, we just said, okay, look, let's take a step back. Otherwise, we're just going to burn out.
Unrecorded.
Mental health. Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's just like we just take a step back. If there's anything that's urgent that needs to be done, we'll do it.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's let's just take a step back. Let's not have the meetings. In fact, interestingly, just a fun example for our office at Career Agility, we have our daily 9 a.m. Zoom call meetings. But on Wednesday mornings, it's actually our break morning. So one day a week, we don't do that meeting. It's just you can just go and have coffee. We just step back and we call it a mental break Wednesday.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
See,
good.
These
That's
are very interesting practices that Adrian has put in place. Just little things, and when it comes to these days, taking unrecorded days off, I think a lot of people will go, okay, I wait for my staff to come to me. Sometimes the boss has got to keep his eyes open and go, you need a break.
You need a break, yeah. Wasn't there a recent article about Singapore being the most fatigued country in the world?
Oh yeah, I know there was an article from Mothership, and it was quite interesting because it says that Singapore, we are not sleeping enough, we are working too hard, and we're working very long hours. So I can imagine that level of fatigue, nonstop, being a major contributing factor to people wanting to rage quit. Actually, it's just amazing.
Yeah, and we're such a tiny country, right? We don't have the mountains to go to, the beaches to escape
We got
to,
Bukit
and stuff.
Timah.
Yeah, but like other countries, you can go to different cities and have a whole
and
new
now you can't
environment.
fly anywhere at all,
Yeah,
right? You
so
can't even decompress, right?
we're-
It's just terrible.
we're like this.
I said jump on a cruise or something, and that's depressing for some people as well.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean-
on a cruise, it's like just one run.
the cruise to me
nowhere.
does not seem like going away. I haven't done it, but
Yeah.
to me it doesn't seem like going away.
It is tough. Plus, work from home, and work from home normally ends up work being stretched out beyond the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And it has been an exhausting 18 months, if you ask me. So for all of us, so one of the things we need to do as well, like what Dr. Jerry always says, you need to decompress, you need to watch out for the signs, and make sure that if you're stressed out, you need to know when to take a step back
Yeah.
and decompress.
For sure. And interestingly enough, our next contributor, Luke Tan, is going to be talking about how to build mental toughness. So that's going to be interesting following your topic about rage quitting today.
Yeah, when the going gets tough,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the tough get going.
The
right?
tough stay strong.
Which is why mental toughness is so very, very important.
Yeah. Because some people can handle it better than others, right?
Yeah. I mean, I keep on thinking about Naomi Osaka, right? And I feel so sad, for her, right? Because she's such a great talent, but because, I think that mental toughness is not there.
Not there.
And I don't mean to be rude by saying that. I'm not putting her down. I'm just saying that, if she was tougher mentally, like like all the other, sportsmen and sportswomen,
Yeah.
right? She would be the next Serena Williams.
But I'm sure there were so many other sports people before her that were equally not as tough in that sense.
And then they
mentally.
didn't become champions.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, right?
And
You
we
think that was it? I don't know.
And
Yeah.
we never knew about them because we didn't have social media. It was that simple.
The thing is, Novak Djokovic, not tough mentally. Wait, hold on, Adrian. We'll go on air, okay? And you can bring that up again.
In 3, 2, FD just stand by on traffic.
Yep.
1FM 91.3 traffic.
We've got the usual delays across the expressways. We don't see anything major ahead of you, and that's good news. Just watch out for Newbridge Road towards Cantonment Road. Roadworks after Teo Hong Road. Stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. This morning our guest is Adrian Chu, CEO and founder at careeragility.org. I'm just speeding right into this because very soon Luke Tan is going to be checking in. We were asking you if, is it important for employees these days to be mentally tough? Because they're rage quitting and all that. The reason they're rage quitting perhaps because they are mentally weak?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, what I believe is that you have choices. Okay, you have choices, and if you're in an environment that is unhealthy, that is toxic, even then by all means quit and choose not to proceed. I wouldn't even call it quitting. I choose not to put my health at risk. I choose not to put my emotional stability and my physical health even, because ultimately your emotional and your mental health will affect your physical health. And I choose not to proceed, or I choose to have a better environment to be in. So if you have to quit. Don't quit in a rage. Don't trash the whole place up. Don't quit on impulse either. Have a plan. In fact, sometimes when you have a plan moving forward into the next steps, you would actually feel a lot better almost immediately. You'll feel more in control, and then you can decide where and when the date and the timing of your resignation will be of your choosing, rather than I just quit on the spot. So have a plan, think about it, and even if you need to take like a couple of days off just to decompress and think your next steps through, please just go ahead and do it. I think it's worth the investment of just taking a couple of days break.
And I also think people should have mentors. If you have mentors, right, at least you can talk to these
them,
people,
yeah.
and they can give you sound advice as well.
For sure. But if you
Right,
don't have
Adrian?
a mentor, you can always email Adrian. What's your email address, Adrian?
info at careeragility.org. So always happy to have conversations and it's one more sleep to the weekend. So just hang on. Friday is gonna come. Friday is gonna go. Weekend's gonna be here, and decompress on weekends. Take a good break. Don't work too hard over the weekends. Basically, the weekend belongs to you. Don't try to keep it sacred.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Don't
Love that.
quit. Don't quit.
Don't
Yeah,
quit. Chin
quitting
up.
is not an option.
Yeah.
All right,
Well.
tear that letter of resignation up right now. Okay. Thank you so much, Adrian.
Always a pleasure, and have a great weekend ahead. Hi, Luke, and bye, Luke.
See you next week, Adrian.
Okay.
You
Bye,
guys. Bye.
Adrian.
Bye.
All right, we've got Luke Tan, our educator and personal development coach, who's going to be teaching us how to be tough mentally. Right?
Fantastic. You want to give a quick summary and then we can go into a song, Luke?
Yeah, basically we're going to be going through the big four of mental toughness. We're not going to go through the big four today, but just 2 points to developing a stronger mind.
Fantastic.
Here's Debbie Gibson, Only in My Dreams on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
Okay, so Luke, you're going to be splitting up our session. So part 1 this week, part 1 next week. Let's go.
Part one
this week.
Part 1.5 next week.
1.5.
Okay, so part 1 for how to build mental toughness.
Correct. So part 1, let me just preface this. Mental toughness was always not a big thing for me. I was a fat kid that was always wanting to be in air condition. So I came from the environment where I just needed aircon, and also I was one of those kids that sucked my thumb all the way till I was 30. So mental toughness.
Wow.
So that's a little bit of a secret for the viewers out there. I quit sucking my thumb at 30, and I'm proud to own that.
Well
I'm
done.
proud to own that.
Awesome.
And that's so brave to admit it as well. My
I'm still like that now. I'm
Yeah,
51.
Glenn,
Do you?
Glenn still sucks his
51?
thumb.
You cheat in the corner.
Wow, okay.
So I'll just preface that. So I was always never been this, mental toughness was never a thing for me. And I kind of developed this really over the past few years, I would say. And it came from, I may have mentioned briefly from, I rose from depression, suicide attempt many, many years ago, and started competing in bodybuilding, competing in CrossFit. And for me, how I came into this kind of mindset and mental toughness is I was looking at top athletes when I was competing in CrossFit to see how do these guys push so much harder than me? How do these guys just hold the bar and hold on to the weights for a lot longer than I do? And that's how my path and my journey into mental toughness began. And I went straight to the source. I learned from ex-Navy SEALs, special operators, and that's why I became an unbeatable mind coach. And my coach is Mark Devine. He's a Navy SEAL commander. He trains Navy SEALs, and I'm learning from these guys daily and just been inspired by what these guys can put their minds, bodies through. So that's how I came into this kind of this lifestyle and this kind of way of thinking and being. So I guess before I actually kind of dive into what mental toughness is, maybe I can ask you guys what are some benefits of mental toughness that you can think of?
Oh,
To be mentally tough.
Resilience.
yeah.
Handling stress better?
Handling stress, resilience. How about training? Would mental toughness help as well?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Training, resilience, especially to be able to bounce back from stressful situations. And obviously, you were talking with Adrian about losing your job to be able to just bounce back up. All right, next day, one day, one life. Let's just go for the next job and just keep pushing on. So definitely, and where mental toughness is concerned, it translates across the physical realm, mental, and of course, emotional as well. So I say the big four because what I've learned from these guys are the big four skills of mental toughness. And these guys who are in war zones, who are in training conditions which are just crazy. And these are basically the four skills that I've learned from them and I've applied in my life. So what are the big four? I'm going to go into two today because it's there's quite a lot to it. So the first two is breath. First one is breath, And the second one is positivity. Positivity is a very kind of big word, as we all know, just think positive, be positive. But what is positivity? So I'll be going into that. So I think the last two sessions we focus on breath quite a fair bit. So just for listeners that haven't really have not tuned into those sessions, breath in a nutshell is what I shared in the past sessions, was being more conscious of your breath, because the breath gives you space from the stimulus and stress you are experiencing. So things like breathing 6 breaths a minute. So that allows for you to really connect to your breath and be fully present to where you are in reality. The next thing is pause, PBTA, which is pause, breathe, think, and then act. The third one will be a 3 breath rule. So meaning that take 3 breaths. So let's say you've been triggered by someone or a situation, take 3 deep breaths before you react. So the breath actually is the first component to it, because it allows for you to create space. Because a lot of times when you get triggered, we just react. We may say things that we don't want to say, do things that we don't want to do, and what actually happens, next thing we know, a few days, I just regretted what I said, I regretted what I did, and things like that. So the breath allows for you to really pause. And of course, on a physiological level, it allows for you to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest part, which allows for you to calm down and really, how would I say, detoxify and clear your mind a lot better. So that's number one, breath. So the second aspect would be positivity. So what is positivity? They'll say, all right, let's be positive, think positive. Well, easy for you to say. As they say, just be positive, just be optimistic, like just do it. Like, but how? How do I do it? I'm feeling the way that I do. Like, I just can't be positive just like that, because, I just lost my job. How can I be positive? I've got bills to pay and things like that. So what is positivity? When we actually think of self-talk, we all talk to ourselves, throughout the day when we're walking, when we're in interactions with other people as well, not being fully present, worrying about whatever it is. And we self-talk between 30 to 50,000 times a day.
Oh, wow.
30 to 50,000 times a day. But out of that 30 to 50,000, you just look at your life. Is it mainly positive or is it negative? And that kind of forms your reality and your perception of the world that you live in. So if it's mainly positive, great. You're taking action, you're moving ahead, you're connecting with people, breathing in the sunshine and the clean air, great. But however, that's not the case most of the time, isn't it? We're always in a fight or flight state, negative. Watch the news, you stress at work. So question is, how can we think positively? How can we short circuit that process of negative thought patterns and negative thinking? So there's this old tale called the courage and fear war, courage versus fear. So this story is how the story goes. There was a wise old Cherokee that was talking to his grandson about life. And he was just sharing about the fact that there is every single day, there is a battle between 2 wolves in your mind. First, there's an evil wolf, which is filled with deception, fear, resentment, anger, regret, arrogance. And then there's the good wolf that's filled with compassion, love, acceptance, surrender, hope. And the little kid jumped up with curiosity. So, who wins the fight? The grandfather paused for a moment, and thought for a moment, and said, who wins is the one that you feed. So, feeding the courage and fear wolf, it is a choice.
Okay, we're going to continue. We'll get you to do a summary of what you said for our radio listener coming back after traffic.
Okay.
Stand by, FD.
Yep.
1FM 91.3 traffic.
Still no sign of any major problems. We've got 1 or 2 delays across the expressways. It's all quite normal for this time of the morning. So as you're out and about, please stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show right here on 1FM 91.3. We are also live on The Big Show TV with our Veducator and personal development coach, Luke Tan. Today, we are touching on mental toughness, which is, I think very, very important these days because often, when someone feels down, when someone feels discouraged, it is now labeled as mental illness.
Yeah.
And, no one can say anything about it. For example, we brought up the case of Naomi Osaka, right? What are your thoughts on this, Luke? And I think you're someone who can talk about it because you've told us time and time again that in the past, you were suicidal, you were depressed, and this is exactly what some people are going through right now. And these people are being labeled people with mental illness. Can it be turned around?
For sure. I think it's really whether you want to accept that label or not. Really, it comes to that. If you want to accept it, then that becomes your identity. I am ADHD. I am depressed. I am this. I am that. But I think the first thing is whether you accept that or not. So that's the first step. The second step is, I know, mental illness and depression, having been there before, I always believe that where depression and mental illness or stress is concerned, there's always one thing. If it's chronic stress, if it's the one thing, I always believe that stress manifests in different forms. There are symptoms of different stresses, whether it's your colleagues, whether it's your family, but it always comes down to one particular source. There's always one source, predominant source of that stress, and I think you need to really open that can of worms and really face it front on. So in my case, I speak from my example, it was a relationship that was no longer working, but it manifests in so many other aspects of my life, from alcohol to buying material possessions which I could not afford, to just partying, to all of that, but I wasn't addressing the root cause of that stress. So what is the root cause, which was the relationship? A lot of it is an emotional, a really, really deeply emotional cause, and we run away from it and we try and band-aid it by like alcohol, trying to run away from it in whatever way we can. So I think that's the second step. So the first step is say, I don't want that label. Second thing is facing your fears, opening that door so it's no longer a boogeyman, in the corner, in the cupboard that you're trying to hide. And then once you actually take ownership of that truth or that mistake or whatever it is you've been running away, it's kind of pulling everything out of the dark into the open and actually accepting it. Say, this is it. Okay, this is my truth. And then once, I think the first step to change is awareness, and then the next step would be just taking action in the sense that to get yourself and your mind and your state out of a fight or flight state or stressful state, I would say, are two things: movement, literally going to train, going for an exercise, going for a run, or action, taking action. So whatever action you can take, what is the smallest thing that you can do to get yourself moving forwards? So and I would say those are the 3 or 4 steps to get yourself out of that kind of mindset and not accepting labels that are put on you. Because the problem with labels is that, especially when we are in an environment where we don't have a supportive environment or friends around us, it's easy to adopt that label, and with that label comes its baggage. It becomes your identity, and then when it becomes your identity, no matter what you do, say, or feel, you're going to be bounded by that reality.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Moving, just keep moving, stay active.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
this will help you out of that rut.
Yeah.
Correct.
And know that there's always help out there. I mean, this is app that we're talking about this
100%.
because it is Suicide Prevention Week
Yeah,
as
it
well
is.
this
Yeah.
week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Great point. And I think that final point is to reach out to people, speak to someone. It is so important.
I've just got one final question for you, Luke, only because I've been in this place and once in a while I still slip into it. And it's a problem that I've always had. What do you say to someone who sees themselves heading down that negative tunnel and they don't know how to stop it?
Heading down that negative.
Yeah, so I see all this negativity. I want to get rid of it, but I'm falling into this tunnel. I don't know how to get out of it.
I think firstly, I think that's great, FD, because you are actually seeing yourself going into the tunnel because you're way ahead of someone already who is actually falling into the tunnel. And it's great because what I'm going to be sharing after will give you the tools to not fall into the tunnel. How's
Great.
that?
Good.
The
Right.
exact
Okay,
steps.
Awesome.
So, okay, yeah.
That's going to be on the Big Show TV. In the meantime, I just want to remind everybody that nominations are now closed for the Greatest Hits of All Time Countdown, and voting will begin on Monday, the 13th of September. Okay, and when that happens, you can vote for your favorite songs at 1fm.sg/913 Greatest Hits. The reason why I'm saying this is because this next song was last year's #1 song on 1FM 91.3's Greatest Hits of All Time Countdown. Here's Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine.
Okay, so Luke, as always, we never have enough time for you. Any final words?
Wait, what FD wanted to ask, right?
No,
Yeah.
well, you,
Well,
you
yeah,
were
it was
gonna, I
just
apologize. yeah.
what do we do when we see ourselves heading down this
The tunnel,
We
yeah.
know
You
the
about to answer
tunnel.
that
that,
off,
yes.
We know the
Okay.
tunnel is there.
We know the tunnel.
How do we?
There's this
We can't pull
there's-
back.
we can't pull back. There is this process called the worm, which is called witness where you are, which you have done, interdict it, redirect, and maintain. I actually wrote an article on this particular 4-step process on my blog, how to really overcome this situation. But witnessing is being aware of that tunnel, saying, all right, cool. I know where this is going. I know exactly where this is going to lead me to. I know the loop and tailspin that's going to hit me, get me into. So the next step is interdict, which is the WIRM. Interdict is immediately when you see that tunnel, stop. You just literally shout in the loudest voice in your head, stop, because that arrests the situation and short circuits that loop. And then the next aspect will be redirect. So redirect. So redirect is to what is the ideal outcome for this particular situation? Is it overcoming? I'm not sure what the situation is. For example, let's say if it's you just got fired, but you just got fired from the job and you want to just the ultimate goal is to become employed and once again, so focusing on your future self. That is the redirect, the new future vision of yourself. And then finally, maintain is a jingle or mantra that you actually should say to yourself. For example, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. So you witness it, you stop it, you redirect it to your future self, and then you maintain it with every day and every way, I'm getting better and better, while focusing on your future self. So that is the 4-step process. And I written a blog post on this on my site, luketan.com, luketan.co. So yeah, and also just for the listeners out there, I'm just launched the Plant-Based Asia Summit, which Angelique is on. It's about health, fitness, and mindset and sustainable living. So do check it out. It's a free event, plantbasedasia.org. So if you want the blog post, I can send that to you, FD, and you can have a look. You might be able to help you.
Yeah, for sure. We'll also post it on our Facebook page as well.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Luke.
Okay.
Always great. Looking forward to part 2 next week.
Indeed. All right. Have a great one, guys.
Have a good
nice
one.
day,
See you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Bye.
All right, that was Luke Turn.
Never enough time for him.
You see, mental toughness, right? I've
so
always
important.
believed in mental
Yeah,
toughness.
it's so
but
important.
these days I almost feel like it's taboo talking about mental toughness because it's like, it's almost like some people feel like, okay, if we talk about mental toughness, then what about the people who
That
are
don't have it.
suffering from
Yeah.
mental illness?
Yeah.
It's like it's so hard now, because people will get offended. I guarantee you, some people were offended just now when we were talking
don't
about
think
mental.
so.
Yes,
I don't
Yeah.
think
Angel.
so.
Even if it's
Yeah.
one person.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
There are
Greg.
bound to be some freaks out there.
There-
Sorry, what did I say?
There you go.
They
Then,
will get
now
offended
now
about that.
they'll be
No, no.
offended. Yes.
No, but
I didn't mean
I
that,
totally
I just,
understand
came
where
out the wrong way.
Glenn is coming from because when
Sorry
you
about
when
that.
when we talk about mental toughness and mental issues, people always become super sensitive.
Yeah, but you see, when you're
Super,
mentally
super.
tough,
You
right?
don't feel sensitive.
Yeah,
You don't.
precisely.
You-
precisely.
no.
You are less sensitive.
But you know what? I think this goes for every topic. If you talk about money and you have money, it's fine. But if you talk about money to someone who doesn't have money, then it's something else as well. You know what I mean? It's a balance. You just
That's
need to.
life.
Yeah, it is life. It is life. Just deal with it. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
just
Sean,
be
you're here.
entertained.
Morning, Sean.
Morning, Sean. So are you going to help us
Morning,
make money?
everyone. Maybe, maybe.
Maybe.
What I'm gonna do today is not so much like a magic trick, but it's something it's a quick one, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do. And if you use it right, you could win money.
All right.
You could win something.
Manipulate
you could make your friends
systems, tear down
disappear.
governments. That kind of
Hack into
Alright, so-
systems.
Yeah. So say what? First, I'm going to show it to you. Okay, it's really quick, so we'll probably have time to walk. I'll probably have time to walk you through how it's done.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
So first thing you're going to need is paper.
Okay.
Any
We,
kind of
we have
paper.
that. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Lots of
So
paper.
about four tiny sheets of paper,
Okay.
and I am going to mark them, number them. Okay. I'm going to number them in Latin.
Oh,
So this,
my kind of
One.
language.
English also are not good.
One.
in Latin,
Yes.
it's
One.
unskin.
Uns.
Unskin.
Unskin.
Sounds almost German.
Unskin.
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 Unskin. Okay, we'll take your
And
word
this,
for it.
I was in Morocco. I bought an unskin jacket.
this is doeskin.
Doeskin.
Skin.
Un, dos, and now it's tres.
Treskin.
This would be tree skin.
Oh, tree skin.
Tree
Oh
skin.
dear.
Oh, yeah, because
I
if
don't want
it's-
to know what number 4
No,
is.
because if it's
Why you
Four
take away
skin.
well ahead of you. Well ahead
Four
of
skin,
you.
quattro skin.
Quattro skin.
Cuatro.
5.
Oh, okay.
Nonsense.
I knew my
All
eyesight
right.
was failing me.
So that is not actual Latin, of course. Okay. But
Yeah.
but I'm just gonna put them down like this. Okay, where you don't get to see all of them.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
All
Okay.
right. But you can kind of see. Okay. You know what? Yeah. Let me shuffle them around so that it's a bit more
Un and
confusing.
dos. I can see.
Okay. So you guys can see what this one is, right?
Yes,
Yes.
4
Four.
and 3.
And 3.
Okay. 4 and 3. If I told you this was 1, what
Yeah.
would this one be?
2.
2.
2. Very good. Okay. Now I'm gonna move them around again. What is the total of the numbers you can see?
5.
Five.
Oh, no, 5, yeah.
5. Okay.
Yes.
Last question, and this is where we can bet something if we want to, but we won't. Okay. What is the total of the ones you cannot see?
5.
5.
Which means it's a
4 and 1.
which means it's a 4. But that's all.
Oh, wow.
Surprise!
Surprise! And so you just lost the bet, all right? So
Yeah.
this is great, you know, if you want to
Angel
make
got it
a
wrong. Then.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
it's
also
Then
said 5.
Huh?
Oh, it's a hustler's
We
trick.
all
also.
said 5.
Yeah,
Hello.
it's a hustler's trick. So this is something you can do if you want to win a drink for fun, you know.
Yeah.
But if
Oh, okay.
you can also use it to make your friends disappear, because if you keep doing this to them and they keep losing to you, they will disappear from your lives.
Yeah, they don't want to be your friends anymore.
Exactly. So use your powers sparingly, okay? And
Okay.
now I will show you guys and all the listeners, all the people watching on Facebook Live, how to do this.
This
Okay.
is so cool.
So you can have fun. Now, you just need normal paper. Okay, this is really normal paper. I just cut it out from some typical stock paper. So any kind of paper you can get your hands on, all right? And of course, something to write with, either a marker or a pen or a pencil.
Yeah.
Okay, so
4
cut them up
pieces, is
into,
it?
Yeah, yep.
Got
Cut them
it.
up
Which
into
is cutting
about,
paper.
I'm also getting paper.
Do I write 1, 2, 3, 4 on them?
Not yet, not yet.
Slow down.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Now
I'll
it'll be
just
good, of
observe.
course.
I'll just observe.
Yeah, it'll be good, of
Yeah.
course, if the paper is a bit
no
more
more
stiff,
paper.
so it's easier to hold.
And
right?
so that your numbers don't
Okay,
show
wait, hold on,
through.
hold on. All of a
Yeah,
sudden,
we're all doing it.
paper,
All learning, all
paper just
learning.
appeared.
I also want to be a magician.
He wants free
Yeah.
drinks. That's all he wants.
That's right.
He wants,
Because I know-
he wants free women. That's
I
what
need
he
to
wants.
impress my dates, no?
Because I know Glenn, like sometimes he likes to have a drink instead of doing the breathing exercises, right?
Sometimes.
So you could win drinks with these.
Okay, how?
Okay.
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 Got it.
So you've got your 4 pieces of paper,
Yep.
right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, now on one of them, just before we start, on one of them, just make a slight bend to it. This will come in handy in a little while.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Slight bend.
So you see
Like
it's a
one of
slight
my
bend.
friend's wrists. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, this is a slight bend and it goes on the back of all the pieces of paper.
Okay.
So as you can see, the last one there is slightly bent.
So it's at
Yeah.
the bottom of the pile, right?
Yeah.
That's the bottom of the
Okay.
pile. Okay.
Oh,
Yep.
so
And
interesting.
so before you start, you tell them you're going to number them.
Okay.
And you write 1.
So
Be
we
very
write-
sure. Yeah, be very sure to show it to them. 1.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Take that first 1 and put it to the back.
Okay.
Then you write 2.
Right.
Okay.
Take 2, put it to the back. You write 3,
Okay.
show it to them. Be very sure to show it to them every single time. Yep.
All right.
And now, notice that because you have that bend at that last piece, it's easy for you to grab these 2 pieces together, bring them to the back. So now you're bringing 2 pieces to the back,
Okay.
all the way to the back. And
Right.
what's facing you should be the number 1.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you
then
just
you
turn
draw
that
the
into a 4.
Oh, right. And don't show.
Oh, no, you
No,
turn,
then you show
turn
them
it
the
into a
Oh,
4
I
and
see.
you show them it's a
Okay,
4.
you turn it into a 4.
So
Okay,
you
okay.
no longer have
Yeah.
The sleight of hand.
Cheat the bug. Cheat the bug.
Yes.
That's magic.
Yes. That's the hustler, baby.
Okay.
And of course, how you do it is you don't have to set it up like this. I'm just doing this for the sake of
Yeah.
the camera. You could just do it flat on the
Flat on
table.
the table.
You show them a 4. Okay, you hide the 2. You show them a 3. You hide the 1. All right. And then you give them some confidence by saying, if I told you this is a 1, that's very important because now they are very sure that's a 1.
Right.
Yeah.
If I told you this is 1, what would this be?
Ooh,
okay.
They would say 2.
It's the delivery as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Sean, this
Yeah.
means that magic is not only sleight of hand, it's
a lot
the
of psychology.
power of suggestion.
Yes.
yes,
it
and the
is.
way, the flow that you do it as well.
Right.
There is a lot of psychology going on when you're trying to pull off something as simple as this because this on its
Yeah.
own means nothing. It's all in how you talk to the
Deliver.
person, suggest something to the
light
person in
it.
your
True,
mind.
because yeah, I totally believed that was number 1. That's why I said 5.
But don't believe Angel. Don't do what Angel did because my paper had markings on the back, so that doesn't really work.
Just invest in proper.
Oh, yes,
proper
yes.
paper. Mine's got like print on the back, so it
Okay,
doesn't
let's see,
really
whether,
work.
let's see whether I got this one. Okay, so if, for example, okay, you've got these 2, right?
There, but your
sorry. Okay,
yeah.
I think it back. Okay, like that.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
can yes.
yes.
Okay, you see the
Okay.
numbers?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So, what would the total of these 2 be?
Correct.
4.
And then of course they would assume that because they've seen the 2, the 3, and the 4.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because after this step, when I showed the 2, I turned the 4 away, and then just for fun, I mix it up to pretend that there's something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Then what's the total of these 2? It's 5, right?
Yes.
Now what's the total of these 2 that you can't see?
Should be 5.
Yeah,
Because we think
Should
it's
be
4
fun.
and 1.
Correct.
Yep.
So the
But
total of
it's-
these 2 should
Should be a 5.
should be a 5. Actually, no, 11.
How did you
Correct.
get
That's
11?
magic also.
Yeah,
You're
that's correct,
supposed
yeah.
to
Well
draw
done. Well done.
a
Yeah, yeah,
4.
Yes.
Well done. No, well done. Well done.
Yeah, give him.
It's
give him.
day one. It's day one. Give him
okay.
time. Yeah,
okay.
it's
This
9
one
o'clock.
is a
Yeah.
bit unpredictable.
9 o'clock. Okay, it's 9
Yeah.
o'clock.
It's
all right,
okay. I'm
I'll
going
go back and
out.
practice some more.
I'm going out with
Plenty
some
more.
friends on Saturday night for drinks. I'm going to try this at the bar.
Have they filmed it? Have
Win
they?
a drink.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
yeah,
win a
Because-
drink.
because-
win a drink.
The other trick I do at the bar is, do you think I can make a tea bag fly?
Okay.
There.
No, he's serious. Look at his face. He's
Yeah.
serious
You
now.
must show us
Yeah.
this tomorrow
Yes.
when we go out then.
I'll
okay.
show you how
show
to
us
make
tomorrow.
a tea bag fly.
And
Right,
make
across
sure
the room,
we,
okay
we
lah.
record this.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
we-
okay.
okay.
Then
all
next
right.
week on the show we'll play it for you. and then
The flying tea bag.
you can rate this magician wannabe.
It's not magician wannabe. It's alcoholic with not enough money.
It's like the voice, but for magicians.
The voice for magicians like.
Well done.
What
Love
do you
it. it, Sean.
Turn
Love
around
it,
when you turn
Sean.
around. Okay, thank you, Ron.
Awesome
Actually,
one, Sean.
Actually, I don't know. I just feel like today, is it the light or what? But, FD definitely needs a tan.
Yeah, it's, the lights here. Are
Because
great.
we all look so tan, no?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No?
But
I'll
I
bring him
happening?
some bronzer.
You know,
tomorrow.
with working outside of the show and the amount of time I've spent indoors in the last 6 months,
Okay.
I really haven't seen the sun.
Are you capable of getting a tan?
Yeah,
You get pink though, right?
I get pink and then I turn
Orange.
It's all, no, it's like
Why
Rose-
is this a
rose
it's
conversation?
kind of like off white.
Rose
No,
gold.
really, he's a very different kind of
gold.
white. It's like the ICI paint, the white of the white.
No, this is
like the 1FM 91.3 behind Sean.
Sean.
That kind of white.
no, but this is why when I go into retirement, I already have my job planned for me. When I retire, I will walk around and I will be a camera white balance.
There you go.
sheet.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, yeah.
They can use it for white balance.
yes, okay.
So,
But I
yeah.
think you better go get a blood test because I think you're definitely vitamin D
Anemic?
deficient.
Deficient.
I think I may be. Yeah, I think I may
All
be.
right,
Okay.
Sean. Okay,
All right,
conversation
Sean,
is
on
going
that note,
sideways.
Sean's
All
got a
right,
very
bye.
nice healthy tan. though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Sean? Your Sean, right?
No,
And you as
No,
well.
even you.
You also,
Oh,
yeah.
thanks.
because you're glowing,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the lights I put around. It's
He's trying to
it's
say
an
you're oily,
illusion.
lah.
It's an
It's an
illusion.
illusion.
All right, Sean. See you next week. Have a
All
good
right.
weekend.
All right, see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao. Hey, it's 9:02 already.
It is. We've
How-
been
we've
trying
been
to tell you.
I've been
Yeah.
trying to get you all to stop.
Yeah, no, it's yeah.
No, nobody will believe
All
that.
right.
Anyway.
Makan Sutra Friday tomorrow.
All right, glory, glory, Man United.
See you tomorrow.
Share the video.
Bye.